What's going on, guys? We are here. We are finally here. My Spider-Man PS4 review. I'm sure you guys were waiting for this, and I am excited to finally get my thoughts out there and let you guys know what I think about this game. So this review is going to be broken down into like 3 parts. There's going to be a little introduction, face cam here, and then there's going to be a middle where I do a little scripted thing, and then the last part's going to be face cam again, unscripted, me kind of talking about the rest of what I need to talk about. So, hope you guys enjoy. This is a very different format here, a little different style I did for this, which is risky, but yet I made it work, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this review with my introduction, my thoughts and my feelings about this game, obviously. This is a very good Spider-Man game. I'm going to say that right now. It's a great Spider-Man game. I still don't know if I recommend it, because it is the type of Spider-Man game that feels familiar, and I have friends who, some of my friends love the game, and some of my friends hate the game. My real life friends, yes, I have a social life, and I got 2 sides. I got people who either love the game or I got people who hate the game. And I know why that is. It's because it feels very familiar, but yet it does do some different things here and there. So it does work. It's good, but it feels very patched with, you know, different types of Spider-Man games and stories and characters all into this game. And that's what this game is. How I feel about this game, I like it. It just, unfortunately, is one of those games I'm not going to go back to. And that's sad, because I will talk about New Game Plus mode in my final portion, or maybe in the middle somewhere here. But, you know, there were some things that just flat out weren't needed in this game. Like New Game Plus mode, we didn't need New Game Plus mode. We didn't need a lot of things in this game, but we got it anyway. There's a few things that I feel like we do still need in this game, but we'll get to all of that at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it to the script now, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, woo!
The story of Spider-Man PS4 is basically an origin story without the origin of Spider-Man, with some characters like Mr. Negative and Dr. Octopus becoming the big villains that we know today. It is no big secret that the Sinister Six also form in this game for the first time. Peter Parker has been Spider-Man for 8 years and knows what it takes and how to be Spider-Man. Aunt May works and runs the Feast Shelter, which is run by Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative. Mary Jane is a reporter for the Daily Bugle instead of being a supermodel because, well, reasons. And yes, I know Miles is in this game, but I'll get to him later. The story itself, if you're a big Spider-Man fan, is not new to the fans. We have seen Spider-Man and Mr. Negative in comics. We have seen the battle between Doc Ock and Spidey over 100 times. So the story doesn't do anything that new or exciting. It manages to pull at the heartstrings a few times, but mostly out of nostalgia. The game, unfortunately, is a nostalgia fest, full of moments of, oh, do you remember Spider-Man 2? Or, oh, do you remember the other older Spider-Man games? The story doesn't stray away from this, but more about that in the spoiler section. Now let's get to what really matters, the gameplay, and boy do I have a lot to say about the gameplay. Let's start with the web slinging. Web slinging has the same basic concepts from older Spider-Man games. Press R2 to web sling and press X to jump off. Now there are more layers to the traversal, like web zipping and point launch, which dramatically changed the way older Spider-Man games used traversal in the past. Now during my playthrough, people asked me a lot, and I mean a lot, is it better than Spider-Man 2? Yes and no. See, the way traversal works in the game is the best. The way you can run on the walls, you can jump off the walls, web slinging and web zipping and the point launching, it all feels great. Web slinging through things like pipes and water towers, that all feels good. But the speed and the velocity doesn't. One of my biggest complaints about the web slinging was that it felt slow, even after I did a dive bomb from 300 meters up and straight down. I still felt slow. I would say for me, personally, it's 50-50. The last thing I will say about the web slinging is that Insomniac have put in fast travel, which should be a crime against Spider-Man video games, because web slinging should be fast traveling. It goes to show that even the developers know that their web slinging is slow. I should never feel like I need to use the fast travel system just because I got sick of web slinging. If even the developers got sick of web slinging in a Spider-Man game, then they have failed.
Get more backup.
Jeez, man.
And lock down the airspace.
Yuri, you okay?
If he makes it out of that building, we're gonna lose him.
I'm gonna go,
Do your thing.
Yes.
He's the day, Willie.
All right, big boy, I'm coming for you. You ain't hard to find.
Hey, where you going?
Have a nice fall, cupcake.
Combat, on the other hand, is a different story. You get a basic 4-hit combo. There are air launchers, web strikes, dodges, throwable objects, web pulls, gadgets, and finishers. I will admit, there is a lot of choices and ways to take down enemies in this game. However, I can't help but feel a lot of these types of things have been done better. I'm of course talking about the web strike. Web striking in this game is very simple. By just pressing triangle. I can't help but feel that a step backwards was taken when making the web strike in this game. I gave Spider-Man Web of Shadows crap for having repetitive web strike abilities, but after playing the game, I realized Web of Shadows did more with web strike than in this game. In Web of Shadows, you could bounce off enemies with Y or triangle, do more damage to a specific enemy by pressing square or X, throw an enemy by pressing circle or B. In Spider-Man PS4, the only new thing that you can upgrade in the game is by getting a perfect dodge, and then you can, on an enemy with a gun, and then you can perform a web strike ability that instantly takes out the enemy. Fortunately, with what this game has to offer, you can mix things up. Like the gadgets, you have tripwires, impact webs, concussive blasts, electric webs, and etc. Gadgets are also almost lifesavers in situations because the enemies in this game are insanely aggressive, but more about them later. Many people have reviewed this game and compared it to Batman Arkham games. But honestly, the only thing that Insomniac took from the Batman games was the free-flow combat system. The trend I'm starting to notice about Spider-Man PS4 is that it takes more from the past than bringing anything new to the table. But what is the only thing new Insomniac brought to the table? Gadgets and the ways to take pictures. The way you can take pictures in this game is amazing. Web slinging and taking pictures at the same time by giving you this slow down mechanic is good. I can't help but wish they just reinvented the wheel because they do have some good ideas, but it is overshadowed by the copy and paste. Enemy types are unfortunately not many. You have enemies who can punch you or hit you with crowbars, and then you have guys with guns and rifles and rocket launchers, and the jetpack guys that suck ass to fight because this game is more focused on ground combat than air combat. Even though it has air combat, it's very Very basic. And finally, the big brutes that are boring and annoying to fight. And are basically like fighting little mini kingpins.
Deadpool scenario.
Speaking of boring fights, boss fights in this game are stupid easy. Once the pattern of the boss is found out and exploited, the game it's a piece of cake. There is no challenge. Like with Kingpin boss fight, oh, throw things at him, and then web strike to him, and then beat him up, and then run away, and then web him up, web strike to him, beat him up, run away. That is just an example of how these boss fights are very simplistic once you know and understand the pattern. Like the Shocker boss fight. Oh, you web sling and dodge when he's shooting at you, and then when he's powered down, throw things at him. Like, it's ridiculous easy, and it's a pattern that keeps repeating, and it barely changes anything up. Thankfully, there are boss fights that do shake things up by introducing more than one type of enemy. Like when they do double teams, when you're fighting more than one boss. That is when the creativity, and that is when it actually feels like a better boss fight, because there is more going on than the typical one-on-one boss fight, which can be boring and repetitive. I wish these types of ideas were done more than the boring one-on-one boss fights. Overall, the boss fights are they're just okay from a gameplay perspective, but it's nothing satisfying to do. Spider-Man PS4 is a love letter to Spider-Man fans, full of nostalgia from the previous Spider-Man games and stories from the past. Unfortunately, this game relies on pure nostalgia rather than taking more risks and being unique. Taking more than giving, but it manages to compact it into a 10-hour story. The game itself is 20 hours long, but the story isn't as long as it was overhyped or dramatized to be. Overall, Spider-Man PS4 is the best Spider-Man game to date. Is it my favorite Spider-Man game? No. It doesn't reinvent the wheel or take too many leaps of faith. But if someone believes that this is the best Spider-Man game, then I won't argue.
And finally, let's talk about the stealth missions, where you play as MJ or Miles Morales. These missions suck. They're awful. They're terrible. There are only two good ones. I'll give them this. There are only two good ones. That is when you're MJ. Both of them when you're MJ. With the Grand Central Station as MJ, and then at Oscorp Tower as MJ. Those are the only two missions. Because in the Grand Central Station, you can see Spider-Man, kind of like what they were saying in their interviews. Like, oh, you play as MJ, for example, and you see Spider-Man, Peter Parker, in a different perspective. Yeah, sure, in that mission it works, but every single other stealth mission, it fails, okay? So, when you do see Spider-Man swinging around and you get to tell him to pick people off, that's cool. That's cool seeing him in that different perspective. But unfortunately, the Miles Morales missions, they hold your fucking hand like you're a toddler. Same thing with some of the MJ missions. If you're gonna do stealth missions, do stealth. Why are you holding my hand, first of all? Second, first stealth mission, sure, I can understand. But all of them? All of the stealth missions, they hold your hand. All of them. They are so bad. And then there's no point to even have Miles do the stealth missions, which I will get to later. And MJ, there is one thing I want to say about MJ. I cannot believe they made me hate MJ. Yes, that's right. I don't like MJ in this game. I don't. Like, this is the first time in any media when I hate MJ. I can't believe they did this to me. I can't believe they did this. And it's not because she's a reporter, which it kind of is, but it isn't. It's because of the way she talks to Peter. It's because of the way they communicate and they talk to each other. They're so mean. She's so mean to him. And it's like, I don't remember her being that mean to him like that. And it's like, fuck you type of thing. Like, And it's just, it sucks because I really like MJ and they made me hate her and that's terrible. Miles, you guys already know I don't like Miles and I'll talk about him more in spoilers. But the stealth missions, terrible. But what I will say, and I hate this probably more than the stealth missions, the car chases in this game are fucking terrible. They're awful. It's like playing whack-a-mole, okay? You're swinging after the guy, and he shoots you like he's in the fucking sniper elite military-graded Secret Service bullshit, which is just ridiculous. And then you finally get on the car, and then you'll just wait for them to pop their heads up, and then you take them out.
So I really do not like this. This is really dumb to me.
Here's your stuff.
I do not like how simplistic this is. It's basically whack-a-mole. Like, that's how dumb it is. It's basically whack-a-mole. And then you'd have to do a stupid quick-time event where you have to press square. It's so dumb.
That works, commutes.
Yeah, I really dislike the car chases in this game. They are really bad. Like, you don't understand. They're really bad. It's like whack-a-mole. Like, it's so bad. It's just bare bones. Like, it's just weird. If I was to tell you what my favorite type of car stuff is, this is cool.
My Mark I web shooters.
That's
Managed to
old
improve the
school
storage
right there.
capacity a lot since then, but the basic design's still the same.
That's good. I love that. But the car chases. Here again, I think my favorite car chases in a Spider-Man game would probably be The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which says a lot because that game is like one of the worst Spider-Man games ever. But yet the car chases, a lot of people said, are like the best. So to see that the car chases in this game are really bland is really annoying. I don't know. I just wanted to give you my 2 cents there. Nice. Got a crime in progress. Feels very slow. How did you shoot me? Are you from the military or some shit? Like, how did you get perfect aim? I don't understand.
Here's your stuff. Well, that's just...
It's like whack-a-mole. It's so dumb.
More of them? For criminals, these guys have an impressive social circle.
Watch. Let me get it. Shit. Okay, just give me a minute. So, if I let me web onto a wall real quick. Watch this. No, Spidey, don't let go. Ugh, see, he automatically lets go. I do not like that. Look, you see it? You see it? How the web went right through the wall? Look at that. Hold on a minute. Look at this. Look at it. You see it? Hold on a minute. Damn it. I'm gonna use photo mode. Hold on. Ah, Spidey, stop letting go of the web. Ugh. He automatically lets go. Okay. What? Come on, game. Ah. Let me go. What? What the fuck? Never mind. I'm confused. I'm really confused right now. Look at that. Oh, it's so bad. Look at it. Oh, it was so bad. See, things like that are bad. Like the webbing. Oh, that was gross. That was gross right there. I just wanted to show that because it bothers me. It's just one of the things I noticed while I web sling around corners. Oh, also when you web sling around corners, the web doesn't like stick to the wall to where he like kind of wraps around it. He kind of like...
So yes, Spider-Man PS4 is the best Spider-Man game to date. But the reason why it is because of all of the other games that have come before it. Spider-Man 2, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Spider-Man Friend or Foe, the Amazing Spider-Man games. All those games have contributed to some levels, to some degree. Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time, all those games have contributed. Even the old Spider-Man games from the PS1 era, they all contributed to making this game. So, this might be the best Spider-Man game, but it got it took all the best stuff from those older games, and it put it into this game. So, with that said, I am giving Spider-Man PS4, or Marvel's Spider-Man, a 7 out of 10. And I know some people gave this like a 10, gave this like a 9. Maybe I can see a 9, but I can't see a 10 because of the fact how it copy and pastes so much from older Spider-Man games and from older stories, from older comic books, from older movies, all the references, all the nostalgia they put into this. It's just copy-paste. At the end of the day, it's copy-paste. That's what it basically was. Yes, the web slinging was a little different. But a lot of the move sets, even a lot of the quips, there were some new ones that were good, but even a lot of the quips were very similar to older Spider-Man games. So I can't see this as a 10. I could see this as 7, 8, 9 range. I can't see this in a 10. So you know who you are who gave this a 10. And I'm telling you this right now. It's not a 10. Maybe it's a 9. Maybe it's an 8. But for me, because of Miles, because of the little bit of the web slinging mechanics, because of the combat, because I have issues with all three of those, because I have an issue with some of the story beats, because I have a little bit of an issue with the ending and issues with the DLC, it brought my score to that. So that's it. That's my my review. I will be talking spoilers here after this, so if you guys want to stick around, you can stick around. I'm just gonna basically just kind of talk about some things in the game, some of the spoilers. So if you guys want to stick around, we can stick around and talk. So this section will be us just kind of talking about the game. As far as comments, I'm a little sick. As far as comments, you could do spoilers in the comments. It's no big deal. So people who want to go in the comment section, don't go there. All right, spoiler time. So if you don't want to be spoiled, get the fuck out. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. So Miles gets bitten by the radioactive spider at the end of the game. And this is probably the biggest reason why I'm never going to play the second game. Why I'm probably never going to buy the second game. Because I will not play as that asshole. I will not play as that fool. Okay? I'm not going to play as that character. I could deal with the stealth sections. I cannot deal with the full-fledged, here's half Peter, here's half Miles. Because you know what's going to be in the third game? It's going to be full-on Miles. Fuck no, okay? This was a full-on... This was not an origin story of Peter Parker Spider-Man. But the sure shit was an origin story of Miles Morales. And that shit pisses me the fuck off. Because nobody gives a fuck about Miles, okay? And if you do, you're a liar, okay? You're joking me because he's barely been around longer than the Peter Parker Spider-Man. And I'm sick and tired of the way people treat Peter compared to Miles, okay? Because Peter is the better character, okay? He's always been. Miles, 2099 is better than him. Noir is better than him. I don't understand why they keep focusing on this Miles character. Nobody cares. They keep shoving it down our throats. And people keep like, oh, this tastes amazing. No! Like, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm probably not going to buy the second game. It's sad to say this. I probably have bought my last Spider-Man game. I probably have bought my last Spider-Man game. I can't believe it. It's happened. I bought my last comic, I bought my last movie, and now I bought my last game. Marvel keeps pushing me away from Spider-Man. He keeps pushing me away because, oh, you like Spider-Man? You like all the nostalgia? You like Spider-Man 2? You like all that? Well, you have to also deal with Miles. Oh, you like an older Spider-Man? Well, he's going to be teaching Miles. Oh, you like Ultimate Spider-Man from the comics? Oh, too bad he's dead. No, I'm not doing it no more. They keep shoving it down my throat. I can't stand it no more. I'm not buying the second game. I'm not buying it. All right, so I also want to talk about the DLC. I just bit my tongue. I want to talk about the DLC too. The DLC is terrible. It's awful. I played the heist. I played it. It's terrible. I regret buying this shit because it feels like content ripped from the main game. It feels like content ripped from the main game. It does not feel like it's its own thing. It feels like it was ripped from the main game. When you play it, it feels like it. You can feel it. You can feel the greediness of Insomniac and Sony. You can feel it. Because Spider-Man, I don't know if you know this or not, Spider-Man is the highest sold PS4 game now. Do you know that? It's the highest sold. So, oh, we needed the money back. The developers, oh, it's fine because the DLC's fine because they needed the money and, all that. No, they did not. Okay? That's a bullshit lie. Because this game is so copy and paste, it looks like they barely did nothing. Okay? And then for them to go ahead and take the story and just like rip it out, because the Black Cat story is, Black Cat's like, oh, I gotta save my son. And then Peter for some reason sitting there like, oh man, I don't know if it's my kid. Oh man, what am I gonna say to MJ? Blah, 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 blah. And then they do this little turnaround. Nope, it's not your kid. Guess what? She don't even have a kid. Oh, whoa. No. What would have been better? What would have been better is if she actually at least had a kid. Maybe it wasn't Peter's, but she did have a kid. That would have been better, okay? They completely, they could have made this so good with her. But no. For some reason, let me explain to you what the best iteration of Black Cat is. Black Cat is in a video game, okay? It is from Spider-Man 2. Because Black Cat in that game helps him do what he wants to do, which is be with MJ, right? That's the whole point. And that's such a good story. It's such a good story because she's irresponsible and he's so responsible and so uptight that she loosens him up. Like, I love that story. It's classy, but that works. This, on the other hand, tries to do something different. It tries to sit there and tell you we're doing something different and unique and new. But it was nothing. It was nothing but just shit from older Spider-Man games and then this little stupid-ass twist that didn't need to fucking be there. It would have been better if she actually did have a kid, but she didn't. And then MJ, fucking MJ, I still don't like her. There's this one part where Peter went and got pizza, right? He was hungry, you know, and a long day. And then you get another stealth mission with MJ. Watch the next one. It's gonna be Miles. Watch. It's the next one's gonna have a Miles. You're gonna play it. I guarantee there's gonna be a little mission where you play as Miles at the very end of the DLCs. I guarantee. Again, so this is just goes to show you that this is content that was just ripped out of the game. All right, so now that I've gotten that rage out of the way, and if any of you are still here, I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and talk about the big thing that everybody's talking about. Was the Aunt May death worth it? Now, honestly, this is something I've thought about. I don't know. And I think a lot of people I've noticed have been saying that too. Like, I think what this is this is just to get back at Dan Slott for one more day. I think this is just to get back at him because, you know, the comic book One More Day, if you guys remember that, that was when he gave up his marriage. He gave up his fucking marriage to MJ. Who does that? I mean, well, to be fair, everybody knew who he fucking was, so that was the only thing they retcon fixed. But other than that, it's like he never really let Aunt May go. So I guess this is just the idea. It's good, but it's also weird because it's like, was that necessary? We couldn't have waited till the second or third game. They were like, no, big old boom, there it is. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Aunt May death. It's emotional. It pulls out your heartstrings, but I don't know if it was worth it. You know, so I don't know. It's different. Like, that was ballsy. I'll give Insomniac this. That was pretty ballsy to do. Like, I didn't expect them to do that. So kudos to them for actually having balls for once. Because the whole other game, the rest of the game, they don't. They just play it safe the entire time. Alright. So, yeah. Otto Octavius knows who Spider-Man is now. He knows who he is. So, not only did you set up Miles Morales becoming Spider-Man, but you also set up Superior Spider-Man. So, you've raised the chances of Peter dying in this. And let me go ahead and take a guess of what's going to happen. Aunt May dies in this game. Mary Jane's going to die in the second game. And in the third game, Peter's going to die. Am I right? I feel kind of right, you know? Like, 3 games, 3 deaths. I can see that happening. That's my guess. That's just what I think. Because they're going to keep pushing Miles. So, that's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. So, yeah, I'm not buying the second game. So, that's just how it is. I'm not buying that thing. I'm not buying that crap. I'm not going to feed into that anymore. Like, fix Spider-Man. Stop doing this to him. Like this is what they do. They're gonna push Peter Parker out of the picture and they're gonna bring in Miles. Like, that's what they're trying to do. And I don't want that. And I don't think anybody who reads comics, watches movies, TV shows, they don't want that. We also do not do. And do we want more DLC in the future? Do we want this? Is this what we're gonna do? Are we going to award bad behavior when people take out ripped content from their game and resell it to you? Is that what we're gonna do? Is that what we want? They didn't need the money. They didn't need that extra money. They did it because they wanted to. That's where I am rubbed off the wrong way. So, that's fine. I mean, 10 minutes of spoilers, that's fine, I guess. That's good. I got nothing else to say. That's all my thoughts on this game. It's a 7 out of 10. I like the game. It's not my favorite. Is it the best? To me, it's not, but I'm sure majority would agree it is. But anyway, I don't know if I want to know what you guys think. But I'm out of here. Up and away. See you guys.